Hey, it's your favorite local bunny boy that never shuts up about .hack, here again to, surprise, continue talking about .hack. I recently played through all of IMOQ on stream after a few years of not really playing it, and it was a big nostalgia trip. But even more than that, it got me to thinking. A lot of people want remakes or ports of IMOQ, myself included. I had heard from some sources that I never really saw confirmation for that CC2 lost the source code for IMOQ, and if that's the case, that is definitely a bummer. But more than that, I really think IMOQ would not really work if they just ported the game over. So I really do think if people want to experience IMOQ, a remake would be better. In this video, I thought I'd go over my thoughts and what I'd like to see if they did a remake of IMOQ. By the way, CC2 says they want to remake IMOQ, but Namco Bandai is holding them back. If you truly do want an IMOQ remake, please yell at Namco, send them emails, at them on Twitter, make videos about it. Whatever gets Namco Bandai to notice that there is a group of people that want to give them money for a great JRPG game. Okay, so let's get into some basic details on if .hack IMOQ were to get a remake. Obviously, like last Recode, they need to combine all 4 of the games into one collection. After replaying the game, it was obvious to me that the game never really needed to be split up into 4 in the first place. Sure, the graphics were beautiful, but each volume was very short. It's not like each game was equivalent to Xenosaga's releases that all changed things drastically with each game. A part of me wants to say just get rid of the separating each part into 4, but I also get a large amount of people buying it might have played all the games and want to skip to a specific game. Like IDK, probably Quarantine, since not many copies were made at its release and it costs an arm and a leg online right now. So yeah, that menu last Recode did for GU is still perfect for IMOQ, but I'm going to revisit this later and say this actually might not be the best idea in a bit, so hold tight. So, battle system. I do think the battle system needs a lot of adjustments to make it more enjoyable for newcomers. The menu navigating system of IMOQ is way more annoying than GU's menu navigations, and that is because of a few neat little things GU has going for it that IMOQ doesn't. Skill triggers. Bring skill triggers into IMOQ, but with the system more fitting for IMOQ setup. In GU, you get general class-based skills that evolve over use of that class, along with being able to learn menu skills with scrolls and such. IMOQ is different in that your equipment decides your skills. I personally enjoy the mixing and matching of equipment for your characters, and I'd rather they not follow in GU's footsteps in that regard. Just give the option to set a skill trigger with R1 and bind whatever skills you have available to each button. I could imagine switching weapons on the fly in battle might make the skill trigger thing annoying, having to set it each time you unequip something. So I think having it auto set to physical skills or magical skills to be good, so it may not be as obstructive. Another thing on battle, improve the AI of your party members. It's insane to go against physical resist and magical resist enemies, and Black Rose goes for the Fizz resist, and you see a text window from her saying it is immune to physical, and yet she continues to attack it physically. Make her AI switch to a monster that is not Fizz resistant instead of make me demand she goes against a different enemy every fight. And yes, I do get it. What if there is no monster she can aggro with Fizz nearby? Then have something similar to how Wave Masters are coded. Have Fizz resistant enemies go on standby away from the enemies. On that note, the same applies for wave masters and using spells that a monster has an elemental tolerance to. Maybe have them waste one spell, get the message that, oh, they have a tolerance to it, and switch to using a different element. Please, 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 please. One good comparison I can make for this is to the Persona series. Once you analyze a monster, if you play with AI, party members, once they realize the enemy resists or reflects an element, they will guard or use an element that the monster doesn't have a tolerance to or use phys attacks. If they want to keep the stupid AI mechanic, then have it be a gradual effect of your party members growing a brain. Again, as an example, in Persona 3, as you progress through the game, you gain more tactics for your party members that are really helpful, and the AI actually gets better at battle as a result. There's already an affection system in place for IMOQ, so the more affection you build with a character, the more brain cells they gain. You can do it like that. I still would think it to be stupid for characters like Balmung, a famous legend of a player, to join your party and act like a dumbass for 5 hours, but it's a nice system, I guess, to show the progression of your relationship with your party or their willingness to listen to you instead of continue to stab something that's resistant to their attacks. Just anything to reduce me having to go into a menu and tell Black Rose to use her damn magic spells on a fizz-resistant monster, please! And okay, we need to address, quite possibly, the most annoying mechanic of IMOQ. That is data drain. I think data drain can stay, but there needs to be some adjustments to it. Later game areas bombard you with data bugs, and you can easily get a game over in the epilogue dungeon that is 15 floors long with no save points in it. That is really annoying. Virus core grinds, especially in later games, are also annoying. I like the infection screen, but I think they need to drastically increase the amount of data drains done before you start getting negative side effects. I've done single data drains on teal color and got Moomin Lay on my party members due to power RNG. I also believe giving Kite a data drain that increases the drop rate for virus cores is a must. I still never get why IMOQ gave you one to increase rare item drops, but nothing for virus core drops? Another thing on that, I really liked how Quarantine and I think Outbreak gave you virus cores in dungeons when you go off the beaten path to dead ends. Do that more. Just please do anything to reduce the virus core grind. It is annoying and a waste of time. I think I got more of my gameplay ideas out there. Hey, Editor Elio here. I'm just gonna add one thing that I forgot to add for the gameplay section, is I do think that there needs to be a bit of a cooldown for, say, status ailments being inflicted onto party members by monsters. This is especially noticeable with monsters like the treasure chest monsters, and the fact that you have to constantly be undoing it. I think there should be a casting animation for stuff like that, and that there should maybe be some iframes or something to reduce how many times you use antidotes and restoratives in battle. Anyway, resuming. Now, let's go over the plot setup. While the plot for .hack is nice and enjoyable, I really do think it could stand to extend the plot out a bit. A lot of characters don't really get much development, especially recruitable ones you can miss if you don't read the board, like Natsume or Sanjiro or Rachel. GU has a nice setup with giving side quests that are optional in the game that give you some nice dialogue with whatever character you brought along. Do that more. Make a new NPC building that gives out side quests and actually maybe even stall the plot a bit to go on them. Maybe you can make the recruitment of like Natsume or whatever be actually through the gameplay and not through just reading the boards. That's another option. Characters that need characterization to actually care for them include Elk, Mia, Wise Man, all the recruitables, Balmung, Mistral circa Quarantine, honestly just pretty much everyone other than Black Rose. She forces you to follow you through most storyline quests, so she gets a lot to know about her. Do an aromatic grass quest through a dungeon fighting monsters that drop aromatic grass and get to talk more to Elk and Mia. Get to know them a little bit more other than going through hellish single-player dungeons. Do a trivia of the world quest, something similar to Sanjiro's sword quest with Wise Man, to get to know how much he cares for the world and maybe learn that he's a 10-year-old. Go on item hunting quests with Mistral. It makes the impact of these characters have a lot more weight. I also feel like the plot of IMOQ moves very quickly with each volume when you actually put into consideration how long the game is. So giving more moments to breathe and see your friends just play the game and enjoy it outside of worrying about falling into comas would be great. And as the plot progresses, like around Outbreak, you can also have the side quests take on a more worrisome tone. They could even include events that could foreshadow the types of people recurring characters become in later .hack media, or have characters from Legend of the Twilight that made their account before the time skip, of course, be able to appear in IMOQ like the Sign Phantoms. Anything to add more content. I also think multiple email chains like the ones you get in GU are another great optional thing to do with your favorite characters. Maybe even add the marriages that GU had. That was fun and rewarding for raising character affections. Why not? Just, give me the option to choose Aura 2, please. Because of how I do think IMOQ needs more fluff in its campaign, I do think splitting up the game into 4 parts might do more harm than good, but I still do think giving the option to skip volumes to be good for replayability. And here's the big thing I want. Add a 5th volume, like how GU added Reconnect to its release. In IMOQ, they mention a party everyone went to meet up IRL. Have that volume be set after everyone's meetup. You can have moments like seeing more Black Rose's obvious crush on Kite be shown more prominently, and you can know certain characters more because of actually meeting them IRL, like how Wiseman is actually a child, or how Leos is actually a pretty cool dude. I'm not even lying. Please read the New Testament novel. He's actually a really cool guy. I don't hate him like I used to. I also think it'd be great just to involve Elk more with the main cast more. You get the Bracelet of Dawn with Quarantine's ending, but other than the optional dungeon, there's nothing new to use it on. Give a chance for that with a new volume. Maybe feature XXXX version of Cubia. I'm talking about the manga XXXX, not like an NSFW version of Cubia. That would be really weird. And have a fight with the Twink. Or help Aura more with developing after her true birth. Or you can get a plotline with failed auras like Lycoris. There's a lot of possibilities for a plotline that takes place, and you can even have it connect to Legend of the Twilight, or even give nods to GU with having interactions with Sora as a nod to who he becomes in GU. I'm sure a lot of my ideas might come across as a bit dumb, but I really do love .hack, and replaying IMOQ recently really showed me that. While it is a fun game, it has a lot of issues. I desperately want people to stop pushing for a port and go all in on asking for a remake that can improve on its slate. It is not really the most accessible game for the current generation of gamers, and it needs some changes to be accessible and not frustrating. Nostalgia can cloud your eyes. It clouded mine for sure. And I still do prefer certain elements of IMOQ over GU, like I stated. The armor system is more fun and encourages trading more in IMOQ, and I think the overworld and dungeon crawling to be better than how GU only has an overworld, or only has a dungeon crawler every area. The monster designs and scenery of IMOQ is top notch, and the vibes of the series are great. And that's why I hope CC2 can remake .hack in the way it deserves, so other new fans can appreciate these things, and maybe we can have a new renaissance of more .hack stuff being made that isn't fucking Mobages. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you liked this stuff, maybe you might want to watch my video that talks about LGBT representation and .hack sign, if that is up your alley. That's another .hack video I did. I also did like complete full playthroughs of IMOQ if you want to watch my reactions to that. I even did like a reading of the first volume of AI Buster, and I'm planning to read .hack Legend of the Twilight and XXXX and all of that stuff on my stream at some point. I just like pacing out the .hack content and doing other stuff, so I'm not just a one-trick pony. You know how it is. If you like this stuff and want to help me do more videos like this, you can donate to my Ko-fi. I am incredibly poor and I don't eat a lot, so every donation helps me be able to eat more than one meal. Anyway, if not, like the video, comment IDK. I don't know what the fucking YouTube thing is. I don't know. Thanks for watching. Whatever. Get out of here. I need to go play GU. Bye.